How's it going, guys? This is Alex from Raw Living coming to you with another video. I'm going to talk about my practices that I do and how I fit them all in my day, even with working as much as I do. So, if you're like me, then you loved your first practice with Isha. For most people, I think it's maybe Isha Kriya. You started with that, and then you learned Shambhavi Mahamudra, and then from then on, you might have added Surya Kriya, Angamardana, Yoga Asanas, Shakti Chalani Kriya. So, if you were to do all of those practices, it would take you 3 to 5 hours to do them all, generally speaking. And that's a lot of time. And for most people in family settings and having a job, it's tough to carve out 3+ hours in your day to dedicate to doing your practices. So I'll tell you about what I do and then give some recommendations for people that might not be as flexible hour-wise as I am. So I start my day, I wake up, I usually wake up around 3 or 3:30 a.m. and I will immediately jump in the shower. I'll take a cool shower, not a cold shower, and then I'll start my Bhuta Shuddhi practice, which takes about 15 minutes. I usually try to start that by at the latest, like 3:30. And then after that, I get into my preparatory asanas. And then I do my Surya Kriya for 3 cycles. And then I do my Shakti Chalani Kriya. And then I finish with my Shambhavi Mahamudra. And that'll take me about 3 hours usually. So from 3:30 to about 6:37, I will have done all my practices. Now, that doesn't work every single day because I do teach twice a week at 5 a.m., meaning I have to be at the studio at 4:45 to open up and get everything ready. So there's no way I could do my practices before then. So on those days, I wake up, I take my shower, and I just do my Bhuta Shuddhi. So I do my Bhuta Shuddhi. I'm usually done by like 4. I will go make some honey water. I'll take my neem and turmeric ball, and then I'll go to work. And then after work, I will immediately pick up the rest of my practices. And usually I'm out of work at around 1 p.m. So I'll get home and I will do the rest of my practices. I'll then eat and then, do my meditation later. So, you just have to look at the day and see if you can fit it in beforehand. It's always important to fit in whatever practice you can do before you go out and you have to do your job or you have some sort of event or whatever. Always wake up and the first thing, just dedicate however much time you can to doing your practice. Now, it really does help if you can go to bed earlier and you can wake up earlier. So a lot of people usually wake up around like 6 a.m. and that doesn't give you much time to do anything because most jobs start at 8 a.m. If you have a commute, you're leaving around 7. If you have kids, you usually you don't have time to do anything if you're waking up at 6. So it's really important that you go to bed early, you get a good night's rest, and you can wake up on, what most people consider kind of a crazy time. Waking up at 3 a.m. is a perfect time to do your practices because there's nothing you really have to do professionally unless you're in sort of the fitness world that I'm in, which always kind of runs around everybody else's world. But if you can wake up at 3, then you can generally do your practices and be done by 6:30, which should give you plenty of time to get everything else ready for your day. And your day is just going to run so much more fluidly if you get your practices done early. Having that, for lack of a better metaphor, weight off your shoulder early is important. Even though it's really just kind of just getting your energies going early really makes you feel good and really makes the day go by effortlessly. So, I guess the best advice I can give you is try to go to bed at like 9:30 so you can get a good 6 hours of sleep. If your diet is eating a lot of heavy cooked foods, it's going to be tough to wake up in the morning because your body's going to be very sluggish because there's a lot of inertia with that food. So you want to ideally have your last meal of the day around like 6:30 maybe, like 6:30 or 7, and keep it light. A light meal, it can be cooked. More ideally, it would be like a raw meal because that's very easy to digest and it'll really help you wake up easier in the morning. So that's what I do. It works really well for me. Like I said, there's only really 2 days, there's 3 days in the week that I have to sort of structure it a bit differently. That's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays I have to be at work for 5:45. So usually I can actually fit in one of my practices. I can do Bhuta Shuddhi, I can do my preparatory asanas, and then I can do Suya Kriya. So that's what works for me. We all have different schedules, so you really have to just look at it and say, okay, like, do I have times already that I can fit in my practices early? If not, then can you adjust your bedtime? Can you go to bed earlier and wake up earlier? If you can do that, then that'll really help you out in the long run. Because pushing your practices off to later in the day is a great way to get in the habit of not doing them some days. Because you're going to have less energy, less motivation later in the day. You're going to get hungry later in the day. So then you're like, oh, I'd rather eat than do my practice, which means that's going to push it off another 4 hours. And then it's getting crunched into your bedtime. So just try to be more efficient early in the day is my best advice for you guys. So I hope that helps. I hope that encourages you guys to be efficient with your practices, keep them up, do them early, because there's so many benefits that will come out of that. So I'll talk to you guys next time. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe. I love reading your comments, so just whatever you want to say, please say. I'll try to respond to you as fast as I can. All right, have a great day or night. Namaste.